Hello everyone, welcome back to Code and Bugs Automation Lab. This is Shareful. In this lecture we're going to see how to set up a base class and initiate the app we're going to test. Okay, the first we have to initiate the app in our virtual device like a emulator, and then it means like install on your virtual device, and then we can do the testing. So before we start, the first things you have to ensure, please download the app, right? So if you go to our website, you will find this URL, like it's Appium Mobile Automation Setup Android. I hope that you already know it through my previous lecture. And if you go all the way down, there is a download APK files. It is a zip file. If you download the zip file and unzip it, and after that you unzip it, you will find there is a number of app like testing or demo app, so that that's we're going to use in our this learning period, right? So here after you unzip it, you will find number of apps like this, right? Like API demo, there is a general store. So those the app we're going to use in our different scenarios. So first in this case, the beginning we're going to use this app, right? API demo one. So after you unzip it, just copy this one. Okay, to make a copy this one, or you can drag it and then go to our Eclipse. So I hope that you remember from our previous class, like we create a one project, give a name is Appium, and then it's we create the project based on Maven. So we have one pom.xml file, and where we have added the dependency like Java client and TestNG, because we're going to also use TestNG framework in this project, right? So that's why I believe that you already know it. So here let's create over here. See, if you go to the underneath source test folder, okay, over there let's create another package. I would give it name another package. Give a name another package. I would say let's give a name like resources. Okay, so where resources, where now I can paste let's paste it over here, or drag and drop the app. Okay, so you can see it, the app should be over here inside there, over here. Okay, so this is the app already here, the API demos. So make sure you have that app, because this is the testing app that we're going to use for our number of lectures, and this app we're going to run on our emulator or virtual device. Okay, so that's the things you need. And on the top also you need, let's open your Android, let's open your the Android Studio. So you already install it, and then as per our previous lecture, you know that how to create a device. I hope that you have already a couple of demo device, right? You created devices over here, like I'm going to use demo to this device. Okay, so let's open that Android, that virtual device. So click on over here so that it gets open. Okay, so let me open this. Okay, so over here you can see, okay, so this API demo is already here, because I ran it already, but for your case it's not going to be there the first time. So what do you have to do? You have to install that app on your virtual device. And how you can do this, like you have to initiate it. So after you open your emulator, keep this one is open. Okay, minimize it for now, and then let's go back to our project, like in our Eclipse. Over here underneath source test, so that here is, we have one the package is like com.codeandbox.appium, right? So let's create a class over here. I will give a name, class name. I will give a class name, say base class. Okay, base class, or you can give a name setup class. Okay, and then click on finish. No more, no, we're not going to use any more main method. You will see why, because we're using TestNG framework. So in TestNG frameworks, it's rid of your main method. Okay, so over here let's create a method, give a name public void, then say configure Appium, okay, or setup, whatever you can see. Okay, configure Appium method. Okay, and then this is a method where we're going to configure Appium, like we'll initiate the Appium, we'll set all the desired capabilities, like the OS, what's the OS we're going to use, what's the platform name, what's the app we're going to run, all those things. Okay, those things we're going to do. Okay, so first things we're going to write the code, like create an object of AndroidDriver. So who's going to do all the job? Like this is the place where we're going to write the code, and this, when we run the code, this code will move to the Appium server, and then from the Appium server we'll translate the code, and it will read the instruction, and it will perform on Android device, like a virtual device we open, right? So who's going to perform the execution? That's a driver, right? So that's why the Appium, they have a for Android they have a driver is called AndroidDriver, and for the iOS they have a driver also called iOS driver. So first things, we have to create an object of the AndroidDriver. So this is the first things. Create object for AndroidDriver. Okay, AndroidDriver. For iOS, it's going to be, the driver name is called iOS driver. Okay, so we're not going to do the iOS right now, so let's focus on Android. So okay, so how to create an object of any class, or so just use a new keyword, like this is the class name AndroidDriver, and then puts in a variable, right? Let's put in a variable called like a driver. Okay, driver, and then return type with the same class name, right? So that's the very simple, we already know it. Hover your mouse. Let's hover your mouse. Just bear with me, my system is a little bit slow. Okay, hover your mouse. Come on. Okay, that's an import the package, import AndroidDriver, that package. Okay, over here it's still, there's an error. So if you move up there, it's saying you have to add argument, you have to pass some argument to match AndroidDriver. What argument over here you are saying? It's saying Appium driver local service and capabilities. Like capabilities, it's like it's all of the like information in regards to your OS, like is it a Android or iOS platform, the Android version, or what's the app name, where the app is located, all those things. So you have to pass those information as a argument, as well as Appium driver local service. So Appium driver local service, where is your Appium? It's the server, it's sitting, right? Remember, so I hope that if you remember our previous lecture, at the very beginning when you set up the Appium, we said like after you install the Appium is right now it's running through your local IP address on your machine, right? So your IP address, so if you run Appium, you will see it will tell you the IP address, the local machine's IP address, and there is a port number. So through this, like at the port number 4723, that's a port number. Through this port number, your Appium server will be connect with this your ID, with this client library, like your client code, right? So that's the things you have to provide. Otherwise, how this your code is going to be communicated with the server? You have to tell exactly where the server is sitting, where it's listening, and then if you pass all the argument, and then it will able to communicate this client code will push to the server. So let's select this one. So right now it's null. So here you have to. So what is the code? First things is like your server address, like your local machine's address, which is http clone /. So your by default your local machine's IP address is 127.0.0.1. okay, and the port is listening, it is, which is 4723. I will show once again where this is coming from when you run. So let's close this bracket. Okay, let's close this bracket. Okay, so now here is one problem. It's like still you see there's an error over here. Still we have to pass the desired capabilities stuffs over here, but here so here we're going to create an object of a class is called URL, because this the AndroidDriver over here, it doesn't expect the string value, it doesn't expect, but this IP address, it's in a string value. So to avoid this issue, the problem, so let's put this one in a bracket, and then we create an object from Java. It's called URL class. So create an object of a URL class. Okay, so that's rid of this the problem, and definitely you have to import the package related package. You will see this called java.net URL. Okay, so that's the error is gone. Now still there is a over here we have, sorry, so let's remove this guy. This is 2, and over here, alright, this is the closing one, and this is the closing one, right? So here still we have issue. It's we have to pass all the capabilities, right? Desired capabilities. How I can pass the desired capabilities? To do this, let's create over here and the capabilities we are going to write over here, right? So you can say create capabilities. How to create capabilities? So in this case we are going to use UI Automator. Remember this UI Automator, we installed the UI Automator driver. Now over here we'll create an object of class is called UI Automator. UI Automator to options. Okay, UI Automator to options. So create an object here, and then puts in a variable, so options, and then the return type would be the same, right? Over here, right? Hover your mouse and import the related class over here. Okay, so that part is gone. Now let's use the options, this object variable dot, you can see you can create now some of the methods. It's called set device, options dot set device name. So set device name. So set device name is a method that's underneath this UI Automator class, where it's you can pass what's the device name, like what's the the device name, the virtual device name that you are going to run, right? Remember, we already open our create a virtual device, and the device name is called demo2. So we're going to pass this one, right? So over here let's pass this one over here, demo2. Okay, and then again puts the options dot, let's say we're going to call another method is called set app. Okay, set app, it will we're going to pass where we're going to pass our the apps information, like apps we're going to run. Remember, so like over here we have app, this is the app, right? So where your app is located, you give the root directory path of the app, right? So this is the app, close it, and pass the root directory path of the app. Okay, so between, here is the app, locator. Where is your app, right? So here what else? So this is a hard code, right? So we can avoid this hard code. Over here we can avoid this one, so because this is your local root directory, so we can avoid this part. Say the user directory, let me write it here. Let's put this one. So this is from the source. Over here this is you have a source, right? We have a source in the source, and then there is a test folder, right? So this is over here test folder. Inside the test folder, the test Java folder, then resources, and then this is the app. But before that, you have to, there is a part like the local directory, like your C drive, so to avoid that hard code from the C drive, let's add this one. You can say system, because that's your system root directory, like your C drive, that. So system.get property, you can say get property. Okay, inside over here, what's the get property? You can say user dot directory. So this is a so automatically this part will take the user root directory, like from your system, from your local system, whatever the your like your C drive, all those things, and after that from there it will concatenate rest of the path, which is like your the path over here, like your source test Java, like source test Java over here, source test Java, then resources folder over here, and that's a path. Okay, so that's a way you can avoid the the hard code, like your local root directory. Okay, so that's your set app directory. So this is the virtual device name where you are going to run your test, and this is the your app root directory, right? So now let's pass. So now this options, like it has the knowledge about all these setups, right? So let's pass this option over here as your as your another the parameter, right? So this is this option over here. Okay, still there is error. Just hover your mouse. Okay, add the throw declaration. So that should be good. Okay, so this should be good enough to initiate the app or install the app in our virtual device first. Okay, so now after that, okay, we'll start our testing. So over here, one more thing we're going to do here. Okay, let's put add an annotation is called test annotation. So hover your mouse, and then add test engine library. So this is a test annotation is the annotation or features that comes from the test engine library, because remember that at the beginning when you created this project, we added also test engine library dependency, because we're going to use a test engine library or test engine or framework in our project. Okay, so that's the way we can ignore the main method. So add the test engine library first times, so that you have the test engine all the library over here, and moving forward, okay, and then we can use that all the packages, right? So hover your mouse again. Okay, just bear with me. So add okay, import the test engine. This is the, you can see test engine package, import test is the first one. Okay, so pretty good. So in this way you can now run all of your, this is will consider as a test. This method will consider as a pure test. Okay, the first times we'll run this method as a test, and later on we'll see that we'll change this method to a like prerequisite. Okay, but first times you need to run this applications, right, this method, so that it's initiated, your app is initiated on the virtual machine, and moving forward then we can start to locate the different elements, and you can start write the code for the testing. Okay, so it's time to now execute this method, but before that you have to run the Appium server, right? So let's open our Appium server. I hope that you remember that you open your command prompt, right? Your command prompt, just type Appium, then hit enter, Okay, so your Appium server will start, because you need to run your server have to ready, so that when you execute this client code can find the Appium server, and it can move to this code can go to the the server. Right, so you need to, before you execute the code, you have to run the Appium server. Okay, so it's already started. So if you get it, just FYI, if you get a problem to run the Appium server, so make sure you open your command prompt as an admin, and then you just type Appium. You will see this, it will tell you the Appium version that you have installed. It's your UI automator, as well as you will see over here it will tell you this message: Appium REST HTTP interface, the listener started on this is 000, so which is like 127.0.0.1. that's your local IP address, and this is the port, right? It's connecting through this 4723 port by default. Okay, so your Appium server, it's running. Okay, so here is the this from here is the the IP address and the port we're using in our desired capabilities. You can see, right? So 127, that's from this is the, as per your Appium server, it's running the IP address, that's from there, and this is the port 4723. Okay, so your server is running. Let it run or minimize it, and on the other hand, make sure your virtual device also open. Okay, and now let's run the code. Okay, so if you just right click, then run as test-ng. Okay, click on OK. So go there, so it should invoke. The first times it may a little bit take time, but it will say it will invoke the app. It means it will initiate the app. It means like it will install the app in your virtual device. That's why in the first times you have to install the app on the virtual device, and then you can start to write the code and do the testing inside the app, different features. Okay, let's go here. I'm saying, let me see that. So my system is quite it looks like it's failing. Okay, no worries about the fail. So what's it? No Java link. Okay, it's saying no class definition found error. Okay, selenium-remote-driver. Okay, configure. Okay, configure this. This is the detector. It's giving you some error. No worries. Let me see. Okay, class not found exception. Okay. Okay, and if we see the Appium server, it didn't connect with the Appium server, so nothing happened on an Appium server, so it means the connection didn't happen. Okay, so that's the error. It says class not found exception. This class was not found in this Appium server. So let's it could be the reason, like my system is pretty slow. Let's add another the implicitly wait. So I would say driver dot manage. Okay, driver.manage dot times out. Okay, dot implicitly wait, and then it's a duration dot of seconds. So where is the seconds? Of seconds. Let's put over there probably since it takes a little bit longer time, so I would say let's put a 6 or 5 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. Save it. Okay, so if let me try once again. Let's keep it open the server. Make sure your server is open. Everything open. Runs once again. Let me try. again still it's failing. So somehow this class is not finding. Okay, the class is a base class. So what I can do, let me give a little bit more information about the you know, the environment, all those things. So guys, here is the error. Like we found that it's no class found error, right? So I did a little bit search. So if I go, so if I search with this exactly the same error on Google, you'll find some solution. On Stack Overflow over here, this is exactly the Appium error, exactly the same error we found, right? And here they're saying the solution over here, try to add the below dependency on your pom.xml file. Over here, this is the to dependency, because they are saying since we are using Appium 2.0, the beta version, you know, the beta version, it's always recommended with this dependency. So need to add this to dependency, you know, with our existing dependency, like our TestNG, right? So our TestNG dependency, like our Selenium Java, Selenium the Java client dependency. Okay, you can add this one also, like Selenium and Java, but we'll see. Let's add this to dependency first. Okay, this is the to dependency. Let me make it bigger, you can see. So one is selenium-api, another one is selenium-remote-driver. So you can check on ambient repository, search with selenium-api. So this is the version, or you can use the latest version, and also selenium-remote-driver. But because you can see the issue was over here with the selenium-remoteable. So this is the error. So hopefully that's the dependency will resolve our issue. So let's get back to our Appium pom.xml file. Here is the two dependency I already added over here, the dependency, right? Selenium API and also Selenium remote driver. Okay, so exactly the same version, you know, I copied from there and I put it over here. Let's save it there. So I saved it here. Let's get back to our base file. Okay, make sure your server is running. Okay, so your server is running. Here is my also Android device, the virtual one. Let's run it. Let me run it over here. So let me run it, you know, a little bit, you know, side by side. Let's right click and then run as Java TestNG. Also let me put my, that's my server. Let's see. Here is you can see the server is running. Pretty good. Looks good also over here. So you can see the server, right? So your server is running. Let me move the server here so we can see. It should, you know, it should tweak our initiate the app that we have. It should open, run, and then it should stop. Here we go. Here is the app, API demos. Looks good to me. And also you can see at the very on your server, Appium server, there is a response also 200. So 100 responses means it's a successful response, right? And also let's minimize and this one, and also you can see the also update over here, the console update. So one run, that it's showing that's fail. Why it's showing is fail. A null point exception. Appium client server local Appium driver server is stopped because, let me see, because the server service is null. What service is null? Oh, I see. Here I added, there is a two, I added this one. to run the server automatically, but I removed that code. So let's don't worry, I think for yourself, like there is nothing on your system like service.stop. So over here just add this line which is the driver.quit. So driver.quit, it's gonna be like quit the server, it's gonna be quit the app. Okay, so don't worry about this line. Let's remove this one, save it, and then run it again. Okay, run it again. Let's go back to our virtual machine. Okay, let it go. Still taking time. There you go. So it takes a little bit of time. It really depends on your internet speed. Internet is very important, as well as like your computer performance too. So it should invoke the API, and then it should the close also, because I use the driver.quit, so it will close the API too. Here we go. You can see it. It's invoke the app, initiate the app, it's at the home page, and it's closed. Okay, looks pretty good. So that's the way, the first thing, that's what you are going to do. You are initiate, and now you can see there's a one run and then pass one. Okay, there is no failure. So now this is the way, this is the first things you have to do. You have to initiate the app. It means that you are installing the app on your emulator, and after that we'll start to write the code to do some testing. But in our next lecture, one more thing we want to do right over here. What we did, we first open that server, right? So we have to open the server manually, start the server manually, then we have to run it. So this is some sort of like manual work. It's dependency. So in our next lecture we'll see how we can automate this server. So server can also run, it can start at the beginning automatically. When you execute this code at the beginning, we will write some code so that it's automate the server automatically. It will start, then it will launch the app, and whatever we need to do, it will do as per the code, and at the end also it will stop the server. So there will be no more the manual interaction in regard to the server. Okay, so stay tuned, watch the next lecture, we'll do it. Thanks a lot, have a good one, bye bye.